Mary, Stamps-N-Lingers, and I'm sorry I'm a little late. Apparently, YouTube decided to do some update that wasn't really very useful. So let's see if this works and if I can see what I'm actually doing. I just would like to point out that YouTube is very annoying. They do these little updates and they don't tell you, and it's all very bizarre. So let's see what we got here. I've got this weirdness. Maybe I'm not even on the right spot. I don't even know. Well, I saw y'all making comments, so you're somewhere in here. I have no idea where I'm live. It says I'm live on my phone, but I'm not being able to find it. Okay, let me try this. I'm going to try going out of YouTube entirely. Hopefully you're seeing something and hearing me and I just can't tell it. That would be the ideal situation. Oh goodness, what a week. Hang on guys, let me see what I got here. Okay, I think maybe I've found the right place. Goodness gracious, hopefully you guys are hearing me. Give me a sign of some sort. I hear you and you're good. Okay, thank you, Paula. I got nothing, man. I just got nothing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I blame the stress of the week. I don't know if you guys know this. My brother lives in the Los Angeles area, and he evacuated last night at my behest because of a recently starting fire. It's so absolutely heartbreaking to watch it. I can hardly stand it. He's okay. His kitty's okay. But goodness, what a mess. So just so you know, I'm ginning up a fundraiser in my head. It'll probably be for greater good, which helps animals and people in these kinds of areas. So be watching for that, okay? All right, anyway, let's take 30 minutes and think about something besides the fire, shall we? Because I think we all need it. So this week I have a card that's pretty simple, not really a Mary card. There is no linen thread. There's only one layer. And so you might be thinking to yourself, wow, am I in the right place? And you're double checking. You are, you really are. Recently, we had the some online exclusives go live, and I have used that. One of the prettiest ones, I think, is the Mixed Florals stamp set. And it's actually a bundle, but I did not use the dies with it today. And then I pulled a January to April 25 mini, which also went live 2 days ago. The With You in Mind set, I just used this thank you sentiment there. So when you're using mixed florals, you're probably going to want / need a sentiment stamp set. And I think this will be a good place for you to start. And I have used the Everyday Arches. Now this is a great little bundle. It's an online exclusive. It's got a great stamp set that goes with it, but there's also the dies, and I think these shapes are going to be cool, and you can see how I've used them there. So let's go ahead and get started. This will all be on my blog tomorrow. What I did when I am doing blending, which if you hadn't been able to tell by now, that's what we're doing, I usually make a mask, and I like to make my mask with another piece of cardstock that is the same size as the item that I am going to mask. Okay, so I have a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 inch piece of white cardstock for my card front. So I have an identically sized piece of basic white for my mask, and I just used this size right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th from the smallest, and I just cut it out right in the center. And then you've got an arch that you can use later on another project, but you do not need it now. You just need it for the negative. So first thing I'm going to do is I like to use a little bit of repositioning tape, repositionable tape, to hold my card front in place. And then I'm going to use my very high-tech and very industry specific sticky notes. I tore one in half, and I'm just going to line that mask up exactly on the card front. Okay, that's why I make them the same size, because it just makes my life so much easier. I'm all about making it easier. Thank you. And I'm just going to mat up 2 sides of it. And then I'm going to start with some fresh freesia and a small blending brush. Now, You guys can use large blending brushes if you like. I'm kind of a fan of the small ones, really. So that's what I use. And when you're blending, you do kind of want to start off of your cardstock so you can get it started, and then also start off of the masked area. That way you're controlling the addition of the color. Now, you can always add more color, but it's really a lot harder to take it off. One could even put that in the unobtainium column. You cannot remove enough color to make it worthwhile. Therefore, start easy and layer it up so that you don't end up with a different color saturation than what you had wanted. Okay, so we're going to do this, and I'm kind of staying out of the center. You can see that. I'm going to fill that in with some Daffodil Delight here in just a minute. But I want this a little bit darker around the edges and then fading towards the inside of the opening. All right. And then all we're going to be doing is a little bit of stamping. So that should be easy. Let me see where we're at here. Make sure I haven't screwed anything up. Well, I got a little bit out of my lines there, but I think we'll be all right. All right, here we go. A little more color around the edges. Yes, thank you, Linda. I think it would be a great sympathy card. Actually, I think any of the sentiments, that the only thing I thought when I was looking at this is that best wishes and thank you are a good size for this design. If you wanted to use a larger sentiment, I would recommend that you put it on a piece of cardstock that is its own sentiment and just let it layer over the top. So you would have a layered sentiment if you wanted to go bigger. But that's just me. I would absolutely be giving it a look-see and see what you think is the right way to go. Okay, almost done with the fresh freesia. Put a little more over on this side. Okay, and then we'll put this away so that I don't stick my Daffodil Delight blend brush back into my fresh freesia. I'm not saying I've never done that, but I try not to do that. And then we're just going to start in the center and kind of do circular like that. So you're going to get kind of straight Daffodil Delight right in the middle, and then a nice blend of the daffodil and not daffodil. Did I say daffodil? Yes, daffodil and fresh freesia as you go away from the center. So now you have kind of a glow. And let's see what we got. Okay, I have a little bit of color there. I'll try to erase it, and if I can't, it'll just be there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's it for the blending. That's all you got to do right there. Hey, Mary, I hope you're staying warm. It is cold here. Right now it is 40. It was 21 when I went and fed this morning, and that is way too cold for this girl. I am not a fan. Not a fan. All right, let me see. Here is my little ink eraser, my sand eraser. I'll give that a little touch up right there. If you don't have a sand eraser, highly recommend that you have one. I use this one. It's got rubber on one end and sand on the other, and the sand is what takes away the ink spots. Many a card has been saved with that little doohickey. Okay, so now we're going to do our large, beautiful floral. And I'm going to use my, Shirley, that's a little too chilly. I'm going to use my Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I inked it up before the video started, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it and just be sure I don't have any way too much ink. I don't, so that's good. You know, this is always scary for me when I use black ink or, any ink on white, because I am a pigger. I can get ink in places that nobody has ever had ink before. And then I transfer it to my card every single time. All right, so we're just inking it up like so. I'm going to put this aside like with its cover on, because that seems like the prudent thing to do. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this all lined up, and I'm pushing it right towards the edge, the left edge, so I have plenty of room for my sentiment. And I'm going to put it right there. Give it a good push. Don't rock in case you got ink on parts of the block. There we go. Done. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, Self, how is it possible that we are almost done and we're only like 12 minutes into the card? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Now I'm going to take that with you on my mind, with you in mind. I'm sorry, I had that wrong. Sentiment, and we'll ink it up. Give it a good check to check the levels of my ink on my pad again. And then we're going to put it right here. Straight would be good, Mary. And I'm kind of, can you see I'm kind of tucking the arch of the T, that little swirly-do of the T into the floral? Where that ends up being each time will be a little different based on where you stamp your flower. But I tried to nestle it kind of in there. Y'all, that is the end of the stamping on the card front. Okay. So let's go ahead and get it matted up. You see that mess I made right there? That is guaranteed to be on some part of my card or envelope at some point. Oh my goodness, what a pigger. And it's on my hands too. I'm just a pig. I mean, that's just the only possible answer, is that I'm a pigger. All right, so let's go ahead. Minnesota has nothing but cold. There you go. Which to send positive projects, crafting supplies. I don't know. I haven't seen where they're doing. I know they're offering temporary housing. The city is. I don't know where there are. I suspect they're going to be there for a long while. So just keep watch, and hopefully the information will come out soon. All right. And then I'm putting it on a fresh freesia mat, and then I'm going to put it on a thick basic white card base with dimensionals, because hello, it is me. And if I had a card without dimensionals, I think it's possible the world would end. I'm not certain of that, of course, but I think it's possible. All right, so we're going to use some dimensionals here. And I think I'll just wait in case I screw up. Well, anything. Unlike people who are confident in their abilities, I tend to not assemble my card until I'm pretty sure I have it like I want it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then I just did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. What a dork. I got brain fog. Okay, so on the inside, what I did is I didn't add any ink to my brushes, and I just put a little bit of color in the bottom corner. Now, obviously, if you don't have enough ink and you want more color, you could certainly add it. That's up to you entirely. I'll do that there. And I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope. It's all very much revolving around blending. Yeah, I know he left. He got home last night because he went to work. Everything was fine-ish in the morning. And he went to work, and then around, late afternoon, the Runyon fire started. And his kitty was still at home, and he works an hour from home. So he went back to the apartment. He sent me a picture from his window where he could see the fire. He could see the fire, but he said, the winds are calm. I'm just watching it. And I said, what would happen if you just went now? Because he said, I have a friend who told me, he lives 10 miles south of here. He told me I could stay as long as I wanted with Carl the kitty. And I said, just go, Joe. Jiminy Christmas, just go. What's the worst that'll happen? I said, go for me, go for mom, just go. And he finally did. And so I was able to go to bed last night, as was my mom. And I know he is safe today. So that is good. And it looks like they did, in fact, get the Runyon fire under control. So that's a good thing. Okay, so I just added that Daffodil Delight. I did add a little bit of color to my brush because it needed it. It's paper and ink, y'all. Now, on the inside, I used this image again. On the outside, I'm going to use the same image, and then I'm going to use a second image on the envelope flap, because there's not even any DSP in this card. I know. It's crazy. Now, when you're going to do a partial stamped image, I recommend that you ink further down the image than you think you're going to need, just in case you get a wild hair when you're stamping and you need to have a little more space, okay? Because otherwise you end up with image and then a big blank place, or like a stamped off once look, and it's just not good. Not a good look, just saying. So we'll do the same on the front of the envelope flap. And just kind of weigh it how you want it, and then set it aside. Remember, don't fall into the trap that I usually fall into, which is trying to touch Tuxedo Black too quickly or inadvertently. I'm a big inadvertent toucher, so don't do that. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my hands. Wipe my hands, wipe my hands. And then I'm going to pull out the bane of my existence, and I'm gonna look at this. Okay, usually when you're stamping on paper, you're fine because everything dries, but Tuxedo Black doesn't, and it really doesn't do it very quickly if you're on camera, because on camera you are guaranteed 1000%. See, look, I even got ink on the back of my envelope because I'm a pigger. But you're guaranteed on camera to have an ink catastrophe, guaranteed. Thank you, guys. I thought better safe than sorry. That's what I said. I said, like, what's the worst that happens? You go, spend a couple of days with your friend, you come back, no harm, no foul. As opposed to waiting until everybody in the Wilshire Boulevard area is attempting to escape the fire. And then it really doesn't matter how fast your car is or how good a driver you are. When they are all congested, there's simply nowhere to go. And that's just how that works. All right, so I'm just adhering that to the inside of the card, and then I'll get my half undimensionalized card front out, take off the rest of those covers. I'm lucky I did not adhere my envelope to it. All right, let's be sure we're going to be right side up and wrong side down. We'll put this on here like so. And I have got some of the rainbow adhesive backed dots, which I love. They are in so many colors. You get Pool Party, Petal Pink, Lemon Lolly, Azure Afternoon, Bubble Bath, Balmy Blue, Fresh Freesia, and Flirty Flamingo. And I wrote that on this pack so that I would be able to remember what everything was. And I have used a couple, 3 of the Fresh Freesia ones. And I'm going to put them on my card front. So I'll put a big one here. And a little one up here. You know what else would be really pretty on this? Would be some of the flat dragonflies and birds. That would be pretty instead of these if you prefer. Or some of the little bumblebee trinkets. Those would be really cute on this card, I think. But I'm sticking with the one that brung me, and I'm going to put my Fresh Freesia doohickeys on here. I'm going to use my 3 odd number, and there is my card. All right, now I have one more thing to do to my envelope, and that is the envelope flap. Let's see if we're dry here. Just be sure that's dry. Now, for the envelope, all I really did here was add a little bit of the purple Fresh Freesia. Really not adding a lot of color, like I didn't even re-ink my blending brush. Then we'll add this here, a little bit of Daffodil Delight. And then I used the smaller image. I thought, what the heck, let's get exciting, right? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I agree, Stephanie. I'd been gone as soon as the fire started. It very much made me think of watching the Maui fire. I mean, it was the same exact thing, and they had the same exact problems. No water, nowhere to go, not enough people, not enough equipment. It was just... it was terrifying. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put this on right there like that. And give it a good chance to dry. Don't touch it as much as you want to rub your fingers over it. Just rub your fingers over it because it's so pretty. And very carefully touching my envelope. There we go. That is that. Now here's the other thing is you could use this exact same layout and just change up your color scheme. Use 2 other different colors, or use your daffodil in the center and use a boho blue or whatever lighter. I would stick probably with the lighter colors because that lets that contrast work better, in my humble opinion, which is worth exactly what it's worth, which is whatever it's worth to you. And you could go from there. You could even, if you wanted to stick with this, you could use the colors that are in here. So peach pie would be pretty with it. The balmy blue or boho blue would be pretty. Flirty flamingo would be pretty. So different color schemes for whichever kind of a stamp you need, and whatever sentiment stamp you have will work as well. All right, guys, I appreciate it. I know it was a little scattery today, and I appreciate you bearing with me. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you on Saturday. No, I do not know what we're going to make, but I hope you like it. Have a good one, you guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.